Right everyone, the midfielder hunt continues. And obviously it's that time of the year where ideas are taking place. These are ideas which Mourinho, Thiago Pinto and the Fredkins at this time of the year are all considering. But obviously it doesn't mean that these players will join Roma. But obviously what do we do here? We talk about these players, we talk about the rumours of these players possibly joining Roma, their impact of joining Roma, and everything related, just like usual. And lately, in the last couple of days, in the last couple of hours even, one of the midfielders which Mourinho, Thiago Pinto and the Fredkins have considered to continue this midfielder hunt has been Lisandro Martinez from Ajax. Now, you see, we talked about Matic yesterday, and we're gonna talk about more. Expect more transfer news when it comes to the midfielder section, especially. Defensive section as well. He's a player. He's one of those players which is a midfielder. Is born as a defensive midfielder, but varies a lot with the defense. So you see what I mean? I've said it many times. I get it wrong many times. It's as if we were to buy him, just think about buying two for the price of one. He has a large, he can play in many different positions. He is born as a defensive midfielder, but lately in his Ajax career, he has actually been playing as a centre back. So yes, this is hypothetically a midfielder talk, but in yesterday's live stream, we did talk about how the midfielder is a weird thing which Mourinho will need to talk about with Thiago Pinto, because you see we've got a few question marks, but at the same time in my opinion I'd say we have some good exclamation marks as well. Oliveira is a player which we need to keep. I really don't care if Oliveira is slow. I don't think this is a good excuse. I think obviously everyone can have their own opinions. If you think Oliveira is not great, if you think Oliveira is not good, if you think there are better options than Oliveira, obviously I'm not gonna judge you, because everyone can have different opinions. But there's a big statistic, a big fact which everyone should focus on Oliveira. When Oliveira came, Roma has never lost a football match in the Serie A, and they have only lost one match since Oliveira became a Roma player, and it was that match against Bodo Glimt in Norway. Yes, it might not necessarily be him, but it definitely plays a big part. So in my opinion, Oliveira is an exclamation mark for next season. I think we need to build around Oliveira. Cristante is improving lately. We said this yesterday. The big question marks are on Diawara and on Veretout. But I can see Mourinho wanting Martinez from Ajax, not for the midfielder section, but for the defensive section. Because the defensive section is, in my opinion, the section which will be improved the most. I think, we have great defense. If you compare this season to last season, in defense we're absolutely phenomenal. We are the second best team in the Serie A when it comes to defense-wise. We are the second team in the Serie A who kept more clean sheets. This is something which we need to focus on. Smalling, in my opinion, when he performs well, he is by far top 3 defenders in the Serie A. Mancini, yes, can bottle some matches, but Mancini is one of those players which will give he will sacrifice his heart for this team. So frankly speaking, selling Mancini will be very controversial, not just it would be kind of disrespectful for him, because yes, he's not amazing, he's a very aggressive player, but he's, I'd say, one of the few players in this Roma team which will die for AS Roma. You can see yes, he's a very aggressive player, but think about it this way. That aggression which he has on the football pitch is all because he's got, red and yellow colours in his veins. And yes, I'm going to say it out loud, he is the only player in this team, maybe with Pellegrini as well, who sacrifices his heart. Maybe Tammy also. He's got that aggressive, I want to fight spirit. So selling Mancini, frankly speaking, would be very disrespectful, not just for the club in general, well, for him as well. Mancini obviously needs to improve in many things. Aggression is something. He commits too many fouls, he receives too many yellow cards, but Mancini is someone to keep. The big question mark lays on Ibanez, because what I'm getting is that Mourinho likes Kumbula, but in my opinion, Mourinho is not in a position to start Kumbula. Kumbula's young, Kumbula's great, but in my opinion, I'll admit to this as well, Kumbula is good as an option. We've seen, Kumbula is a very slow defender. To be a starting defender, you need to be quick. And don't get me wrong, Kumbula has improved a lot when it comes to confidence, but he still needs to, grab those steps to become a top defender and start every single match. The big question mark, therefore, lays on Ibanez, because Ibanez is this is something, a fun fact for you guys, is the second player in the entire Conference League tournament, the first player remaining in a Conference League tournament, which actually performs more tackles. He's just like Mancini, he's a very aggressive defender. But Ibanez does have a pattern of bottling matches, and this is what next season we need to avoid, because the amount of matches, the amount of points we've lost against small teams this season is something which we cannot do next season. And this is where the interest onto Lisandro Martinez comes in, being born as a defensive midfielder, but adapting and now basically being a centre-back. And I think Ibanez is the question mark when it comes to this. Now, Lisandro Martinez is 24 years old. He's very young. I was not expecting this myself. I looked at his age and he is very young. His value is 30 million euros and he plays for Ajax. Now, first impressions, value is high. It's a very high value. 30 million pounds is one of those things, spending that amount of money, I've said this many times, is one of those things which this club needs to avoid. And spending 30 million euros on one single player, as we always say, is a massive, massive, massive risk. It couldn't be a more prone thingy, It's a massive risk, because just imagine if he doesn't bond well with the others. Imagine if he flops, that's 30 million wasted. Imagine if he comes and gets injured, and a serious injury, that's 30 million wasted. You see, for a club like Roma, spending this amount of money is very controversial. You either spend 30 million or a big price on someone which, because something is that, one thing is, okay, I'm going to spend so much money on Lisandro Martinez, and another thing is, oh yeah, I'm going to spend so much money on Kylian Mbappe. Obviously, to get Mbappe, you need to spend money. To get Lisandro Martinez, the biggest question mark which pops in my mind after seeing this value is, there surely must be other options. Because, don't get me wrong, yes, he can have a good impact. He can become a fundamental player. But the second he becomes a flop, the second he has a negative impact just like Viña had, the second he gets injured and it's a serious injury, that's 30 million euros gone in the bin. And can we do that for a club like Roma? No, we can't. This is why there must be better options, and there need to be better options. We have accumulated many players. We've talked about Matic. We've talked about Lingard, who obviously is a completely different position than Lisandro Martinez, just to make it clear. We've talked about a lot of players. We're talking about Lisandro Martinez. We were talking about Bailey a couple of months ago in defence. We have a lot of players, and it's that time of the season where these names which Mourinho, Thiago Pinto and the Fredkins have accumulated, it's where the negotiations are starting. It's where the big questions need to be raised. Do I really need to spend 30 million on someone like Lisandro Martinez? It's not Kylian Mbappe. It's not Erling Haaland. It's not Lionel Messi. He is someone who plays for Ajax in a Farmers League, because anyone who says that Eredivisie is not a Farmers League, then you're probably an Ajax fan. Ajax have been dominating that league since at least 20 years. Yes, there have been, years where PSV were Feyenoord have won. But it's just like the French league. So yes, he might be a great player in that league, but the second you bring him in a more competitive league, the second you bring him in playing more matches, Coppa Italia, Serie A, Conference League this season, maybe Europa League next season, who knows, maybe the Champions League next season, will we have the same impact? And you see, this is where the big question marks needs to be raised. Because in my opinion, £30 million for Lisandro Martinez is a big risk. We've spent £13 million on Viña, and that was £30 million wasted. And this is, 20 millions more than that. You see, it's a massive risk. Now, I can see, however, why Mourinho, why Thiago Pinto, and why the Fredkins have shown interest in Lisandro Martinez. Now, obviously, many players, which are Ajax players, at the end of this season, will rethink about their future. Now that Erik ten Hag has been announced as the new Manchester United manager, a lot of these players are going to ask themselves, I've been a big part of this club. I'm surprised the world when I came to Champions League semi-final under Ten Hag, and then I lost against Tottenham. I was a big part of this, and I loved Erik ten Hag. So, I'm not sure. Do I really want to stay now that my manager is gone? So, a lot of these players will think about this. Yes, many of them will be loyal to the club. Obviously, it's not like Erik ten Hag left and there's going to be a complete mutiny in the Ajax squad. That's not what I'm saying. But obviously, some players will rethink about their future. I've been great with Ten Hag. I've been great. I've won a lot under Ten Hag. Now that Ten Hag has left, do I really want to stay here anymore? So many of these players will rethink about their future. Now, also, something which I remember mentioning once, but obviously a lot of new subscribers have joined, this family. So I'm going to repeat it again. Now, what Mourinho is giving me the impression of is that, it does link with yesterday's argument as well. Obviously, we will need to buy experienced players to give, to shape the team, to make the younger players learn. But what I'm getting the impression is that Mourinho wants to build a futuristic team. And he has said it that for the time that he's going to be manager of this club, he is intending to rejuvenate the team. He's already been doing this. Look at Zalewski and look at the impact he gave. Look at Felix, look at a manager subbing Felix in a match against Genoa away, which we had to win, and then Felix scoring 2 goals. We've seen Roma being down against Verona, and we've seen Mourinho's courage of putting 2 young players in, Volpato and Bove, and we equalized the match. Who scored? Volpato and Bove. Mourinho is giving me an impression, is giving the fans an impression that a big step of the future of this club will be to start a new cycle, to start all over again. We are one of the youngest teams in the Serie A. Zaniolo up front is very young. Tammy up front is very young. Zalewski, who's basically now a starting 11, very young. Bove, Volpato, Felix on the bench, very, very young. We've had Calafiori, he's now on loan. Look at Ibanez, he's very, very, we have a very young team. But obviously, Mourinho knows this. Unfortunately, this is a new cycle. A new cycle has started. Look at Barcelona. Barcelona is the example I want to focus on. Because the equivalent of Messi, Neymar, Suarez, Iniesta, prime PK in defense and prime Ter Stegen in goal, prime Jordi Alba and prime Dani Alves, the equivalent of that Barcelona side was our side which faced Liverpool in the semi-finals of the Champions League, which was basically made up of Dzeko, Alisson, Nainggolan in his prime, Strootman in his prime, De Rossi in his, not his prime, but amazing player Manolas in his prime. That was our equivalent of the Barcelona team. 11 players The 11 starting players which started the match against Barcelona are not a Roma player anymore. That puts a big question mark in your mind. And look at Barcelona. The same thing is happening. Look at Barcelona now. They're experimenting with young players. I am seeing the same traces going on in this club. Yes, there will be the experienced players. We've talked about that. They need to be there. They will be fundamental. But it will be very, very, very important to experience and to kind of direct our way to the future when it comes to young players. I'll be back in a sec because I can hear my phone ringing. Give me 2 seconds. Right, I'm back. It's those weird numbers. It's just scam calls. Why do they ever call? Why? Don't you have something more interesting to do in your life? Sorry about that. Right. So you see, I'm seeing the same steps being done in this club. It will take time. But look at Ajax. Ajax are famous for growing their young players. And showing interest onto a player who plays for a club who's very famous in growing their academy squad is a sign. And Lisandro Martinez is overpriced, 100%. 24 years of age is young as well. But the club, Ajax, is a very young club. They always start fresh. Every year, every time I see an Ajax game, I see at least 3, if not 5 players who I've never seen before. And then I search them up on Google. And where do they come? Academy squad. So showing interest onto someone who plays for a club who's very famous in doing what we're planning to do in the future is definitely something. Right, I'm done with the ramble today. Let me read some comments. This guy's really good, but he's short, only 175 centimeters. That's too short for a centre back in my opinion. On the other hand, I think he would make a phenomenal CDM if we convert him to that. And in centre back, I think Martinez can be good if he's the left side centre back in the back 3. Like if we play Mancini in the middle, Ibanez right centre back, and Martinez left centre back. If we get over those players, we get Eredivisie results. Hi Simon, hello, welcome. We should go for Livramento or Kyle Walker-Peters from Southampton. I love Ibanez too, though. He's become really good with Jose. Yes, he has the odd mistake, but he's got so much potential. I think he'll become a great centre back. I want us to keep him. Yeah, he's got potentials, but it's with Ibanez, it's the lack of confidence. Ibanez is one of those players which, if he's under pressure, if he's starting to panic, then he can easily score 3 own goals in a single match. He needs to improve in being more confident about himself. Simon, what do you think about getting Isco? Isco's another option, but wages are very, very high when it comes to Isco. Simon, what about Eric Bailey of United? We talked about Bailey, but to be honest with you, he's too injury prone. He's too injured. Don't get me wrong. United will, with Ten Hag, they'll completely refresh everything. So Eric Bailey will 100% leave the club, but I'm not too sure if I want him. Yes, he can be a good option, but he's too injury prone. Why did Puig reject us? He wants to stay at Barca. That's right, Simon. Young good teams are the way to go. Jose is doing it well, and also the fact that Roma has the best academy team in Italy now is great for us. Definitely, the fact that we have a really good academy team does also help a lot. Right, let me quickly read the results of the poll, and then I will end the stream, and I'll catch you tomorrow for the preview for Inter Milan. Very big match indeed. Right, let's see what people think. 55% not bad, 30% says expensive, and 15% says overrated. Right, we've got mixed opinions on Lisandro Martinez. My final piece of, concluding sentence is, yes, he can be good, but spending 30 million on one player is a very big hazard. Therefore, I think, we should consider more options. If at the end of the day, all these options are not convincing, then I can see us diving in for him. But at the same time, let's, collaborate more options. And I can say it now, like 3 months before the transfer market, that out of him and Matic in the last couple hours, I would definitely say Matic is not closer, because transfer market still didn't start, and Mourinho's definitely not thinking about the transfer market in such an important part of the season. But out of the two players, I can see Mourinho wanting Matic more. Obviously, he knows how he plays. Obviously, he's older, but that experience can then be converted to teaching knowledge to the younger ones. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I'll catch you tomorrow for the preview for Inter Milan. If you haven't already, smash the subscribe button. If you're watching this and you haven't already subscribed, what are you waiting for? Subscribe if you haven't already. Smash the like button and comment in the comments of the video your impressions on Lisandro Martinez and your impressions especially on the future of this club. Do you agree with me? New cycle is starting. Let me know your impressions. Follow me on Instagram at Simon_ASR_, and I will catch you tomorrow for the... Also, something else I wanna point out, which I've been asked a lot lately. I've seen many comments on Instagram as well. Am I going to the Leicester game? I'm trying. It's already sold out. Like, the stadium is sold out in less than 24 hours. Maybe I didn't tell you guys, but my uncle used to work for Roma, so sometimes he manages to find some tickets for me to go to. So it basically relies on him. But otherwise, it's gonna be hard because the stadium is sold out. That's the power of these fans. The stadium is literally sold out. You can go on the website in less than 24 hours. However, if we were to get in a Champions League final, you wish. In a Europa Conference League final, I will try my best. I will 100% try. I'm going to try it. The second the tickets are out, I'm going to launch myself on them to go to Albania, to go to Tirana and follow the first ever final of my club in 16 years of my life. That's how much it means to me. But obviously, let's not think about the final first. We've got Leicester before, but I'm just saying. I'll catch you soon. Simon, out.